Hi guys, welcome back to this episode of I Wanna Eat. Today we're going to be making Chashu pork, a very popular Japanese dish that you've probably seen on ramen. Chashu pork is a melt-in-your-mouth pork belly that's usually served with ramen, but can be used as an ingredient itself in a wide variety of dishes. So let's get started. We have about 2 pounds of pork belly here, so we're going to begin by getting our seasonings ready. In a bowl, we'll add a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, a few cracks of black pepper, about 1/2 teaspoon, a tablespoon of chili powder, a tablespoon of garlic powder. This is optional, but I happen to have some ground ancho pepper, a tablespoon of soy sauce, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, a tablespoon of hoisin sauce, and a tablespoon of honey. Now let's mix our seasonings up into a paste. This is about the consistency we want that will stick to the pork. And then let's just spoon the spice mixture over our pork, skin side down. Be sure to put enough seasoning so that you can cover the meat and the edges. And then just massage the seasonings into the meat. Once the seasoning is rubbed in, we're going to roll the pork skin side out. And then we'll fasten the ends with some bamboo skewers. This is going to make the next step much easier, which is tying our meat with kitchen twine. So now that both ends are fastened, we're going to take some of our kitchen twine and tie the middle of our pork belly roll. Make sure to tie it nice and tight. And just keep tying the pork with the twine, making sure to at least get the middle and both ends. I'm going to be putting about 5 pieces of twine in total, which will help the pork keep its shape as it cooks. Once you've secured your pork and don't think it's going to unroll in the oven, you can remove the bamboo skewers. Now we'll just trim the excess twine, that way it doesn't burn in the oven. Then we'll preheat the oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit, about 245 degrees Celsius. Now let's coat the skin side of the pork with our seasoning mixture. And then we'll just rub those seasonings in again. Be sure to cover the entire pork roast. And now we'll just move it to a roasting pan with a rack. This allows for better airflow and more even cooking of the meat. You can also allow the chashu to sit and marinate like this for a day or two before cooking, but it's still good when cooked as is. Then we'll add around 2 cups of water to the pan. This will prevent the drippings from the meat from smoking in the oven, and will also prevent a burnt sticky mess from forming in the bottom of the pan. Now we'll just pop the chashu into our preheated oven and let it roast for 1 hour. 1 hour later, and the chashu has browned beautifully on top with a bit of char to it. So we're just going to flip it over and brush it with a little more of our marinade. Then put it back in the oven for another 10 minutes or so until the entire chashu roll is nice and crispy. It's been 10 minutes, so let's take a look at the chashu. We can see it's evenly browned and crispy on the outside, so that means it's done. We're going to set the chashu aside on a plate to rest and cool down a little bit. We want to let it cool at least down to room temperature. This will make it much easier to slice when we're ready to eat. So at this point, the chashu itself is pretty much done, but I want to show you guys a quick and easy meal you can make using the chashu we just made. I like to serve the chashu with scrambled eggs and white rice. So let's crack 3 eggs into a bowl. Then we'll just break the yolks and whisk it. Once the eggs are fairly well beaten, we'll add a couple tablespoons of cream and a pinch of salt. Then just continue to whisk until smooth. Put about a tablespoon of butter into a pan on medium heat. Let it melt and wait until it starts to brown and caramelize a little bit. Then add in the eggs all at once. The idea behind these scrambled eggs is to break them up as little as possible. We want the eggs to cook as sheets, which we will then just drag to the middle of the pan. No real stirring or breaking up of the eggs, just simply finding the egg that has set and dragging it to the center, tilting the pan to fill in any gaps. This way of cooking the eggs allows for them to remain as one curd, which creates a very nice and silky texture when eating. If you like your eggs a bit more on the runny side, then this would be the point to stop cooking the eggs. I personally like my eggs a bit more set and a little bit browned, so I'm going to flip the eggs just briefly to cook the other side. Again, these eggs are a little browned, which I like, but if you don't, just cook the eggs on a medium-low heat and don't flip them. So now the eggs are cooked and the pork has cooled down enough for us to be able to cut it. For assembly, we have a bowl of white rice and some sliced green onions. Let's slice our chashu, just trim the end and cut about 1/4 inch slices. You can see how beautiful and moist it is on the inside. This is because we tied it up into that roll shape, which helps it to retain moisture. I could have tied it a little tighter, but all in all, I'm very happy with how it turned out. So now all we need to do is we're going to put a layer of our scrambled eggs covering about half of the rice, followed by enough chashu slices to cover up the other half. Then just top with our sliced green onions and done. And there it is, guys, a homemade chashu pork and scrambled egg rice bowl. The chashu is cooked perfectly and it literally melts in your mouth. This recipe is fairly simple, so I hope you guys give it a try and let me know how it turns out in the comments below. But anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of I Wanna Eat. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like and subscribe. We're a newer YouTube channel, so it really makes a difference and helps us out. Thanks again, guys, and bye.